Hey, my name is Matt Spencer, and thank you very much for tuning in to my channel. Putting a video together right now that's been on my mind for a long time, and it's a little bit different. There's a lot of book clubs. There's a lot of really good books. There's a lot of books I read that other people are reading, and we talk about them. I never hear many people talk about movies. Maybe it's not the scholarly thing. There's definitely probably more value in a book. You use your imagination. That helps you with your spelling, which I could use, or a new phone. It helps with your vocabulary. To me, I think what it is like many people. When I come home, I'm done. I'm tired. My mind's shot. I've been reading contracts. I've been looking at numbers. I've been having to think all day, and something about probably maybe just the way I'm wired. Books require me to think and imagine and stimulate my mind, I guess. Whereas movies, I still get like a feeling, I guess, not using my mind, but maybe in your heart of the meaning or the principles behind the movie, but I can be in a more vegetative state and eat popcorn and sit on my couch. And that's just other people probably get those same feelings and emotions from a good book, whereas I'm just wired. I like movies. I grew up watching a lot of movies with my dad. I don't know. So I've put together a little collection I've been working on for a couple years now, and I'm missing several, and I'm definitely going to talk about the ones I'm missing. But these are mostly Blu-ray, a couple DVDs of very motivational movies, I would say. Now, this video I'm recording now is not a hey, we're at home with our kids, what's some good movies to watch that we haven't heard of. This is not necessarily hardly any of it children worthy. You say adult worthy. Uh, they're not a family sit on the couch together. This is I'm kind of speaking to I guess business owners, a word I really don't want to have to use because it's overused. I think is entrepreneur, but people that are being impacted by what's going on right now. Sorry, one second. People that are being impacted, restaurant owners, real estate agents, car sales, car lots, anything. It doesn't even have to be sales industry, just service provider, anything, product manufacturing. And it could also be talking to a stay-at-home parent. It could be anybody that your job and your passion is just taking and I don't say just, but it's your passion raising your kids and getting them to school and getting them dressed or homeschooling. I mean, so don't think this video is only for business owners. It's for anybody that wants to watch it. But these are videos that I use to kind of, I guess, just rekindle my spirit some days. I've had a hard day, been beat up, things don't go your way. I can go to bed on a somewhat of a high note if I don't fall asleep first. And then you wake up the next day, and tomorrow's a new day. And some of these I actually get ideas from. Some of the characters inspire me. Some of the characters inspire me of what not to become and think about your actions and things. And I fall short every day. But I think that's enough rambling. But these are videos that I think are good for motivation for someone that might be struggling right now. They're kind of rags to riches stories. They're about failure, 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 success. I mean, I could talk an hour about each one of these. I watch these. Christina can tell you, like, this is all I watch. Seinfeld and this. It's it's on repeat. There's, I don't know, 20 of them here. When I finish one, I pretty much start back over. And a couple of the ones I'll probably lead in with are the ones that are my favorite that I can tell you line for line, and I don't even know why I like them so much. But I think that's it. I'll get started. I think I want to lead with one that you can get on Prime. I don't think it's on Netflix. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I've been wanting to order the box set and I just haven't done it because it's always usually free and I don't need to. But there's a series. I think it was made for the History Channel. I think it was actually 8 separate videos, but there's technically 4 episodes. But I think they split them up the way they aired it however many years ago. But it's called The Men Who Built America, and it might be leaving out some very important people, but it's about pretty much post Civil War. Vanderbilt, Carnegie. Some people sit there in the video they call him Carnegie. Um, Rockefeller, Ford, J.P. Morgan, and all the trials and tribulations they went through. Some of them already had it like a silver spoon, you could say. Some of them came from nothing. Some were in the right spot at the right time, and everything's perspective based. It's all on the author. You know, you can't believe hardly anything you see, but getting off topic here, it's a killer series. I watch it probably twice a year, and it's that's probably one of my favorites to watch. It's a documentary style, but it's pretty good. Several people I know have watched it and enjoyed it that aren't documentary types. Christine even watches it with me. So, leading to my first one that I have, and I'm going to hopefully be able to flip this around. The other recording stuff I had, I was able to do a mirror image so the titles read correctly across the screen. So if it's not, bear with me. This one, let's see. It's called The Big Short. It's about the housing collapse and bank issues and everything like that from like 2007, 2008 into 2009, which I was in the construction industry, and me and my wife had just gotten married and we both lost our jobs within a few months. So while we didn't live in poverty and have to find rats to cook, we survived. But I'll make a whole other video on that sometime. But I can relate to this because it affected me directly. There's no main character in this really. It's several guys that took leaps of faith based on their gut, and that's one of my favorite ones. It's real estate-ish related, so maybe that's why. But it's one of my favorites, The Big Short. All these movies, I'll wipe them down with Lysol if somebody wants to borrow them if they don't want to spend the money. But it is kind of like a collection of mine. And they're not in any kind of order, too. Like, I've got two and a half are real estate related. I say 2.5 because The Big Short's kind of about real estate. They're not in any kind of order. I wanted to put them in an order, but I couldn't figure out, because you could rank them differently for different ways. So I'm just kind of starting with some of my favorites. If you haven't seen this, you're missing out. I feel like that's something a lot of people have seen. The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. It's about a guy in New York City. Life seems to be falling apart all around him, but he never gives up. I don't think I mentioned it earlier, so Pursuit of Happiness. All these movies, now some of them are bad guys, some of them are good guys. At the end of the day, they're all about perseverance, indomitable spirit, never giving up, success, things like that. Things that I think people that have ups and downs in any business can relate to and can use it to fuel their fire, I guess you could say. This was one I found randomly by mistake, just like surfing, I think, Prime. It's called The Founder. It's about Ray Kroc. He's not the guy that started McDonald's, despite what a lot of people would think. He's the one that made McDonald's what it is today. So it's called The Founder, Ray Kroc. There's a couple documentaries, and also make sure you find the one with whatever his name is. I can't remember. Michael Keaton. And it'll probably make you have different thoughts or views of McDonald's, of what it is today, actually. At the end of the day, he still did some amazing things. You could say that. One I've made a Facebook post about before. Christina, I usually always pick the movies. This one particular time, I was just wanting some popcorn. If you don't know, I love popcorn. That's what I eat for dinner a lot of times. She picked a movie, and we sit down, and it's like some guy on their bleacher starting to sing, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, we're watching a musical, and now it's like one of my top 5 favorite movies. It's called The Greatest Showman. It's about, Barnum? Sorry, I should have kind of made a list of the actual names of everybody. I always just want to say, I can't remember. It's Hugh Jackman anyway. It's about the guy that started the circus. Ups and downs. I can't remember. The beginning starts with massive layoffs. It might have been the Depression. I can't quite remember. But killer movie. One that's at the top of my list, and it's actually at the top of a lot of people's lists, and it's more of a bad guy story, but American Gangster. It's Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe. It's about New York. Guy's like a right-hand man of a guy that kind of runs things. It's about him working up, moving his way up. It's a drug business. But I've watched this one a lot, and I think it's the relentlessness and can't think of the right word for Denzel's character. Not been doing a very good job with this. I'm also trying not to tell the storyline too much. I think we'll talk about this one next. This is kind of a no-name movie I stumbled across a couple years ago. It is one of my true real estate movies. It's called 99 Homes. This is also about 2008. It's about foreclosures. The first time I watched this, I was really surprised because I could relate to it really well. It's not because of the recession, but when I was at Berkshire Hathaway, I listed properties for Freddie Mac, and the stuff in this movie is very legit and accurate. And you can say the villain was participating in illegal activities, which could easily have been done. Not so much when I was doing the work with Berkshire, but a lot of the, not Berkshire, Freddie Mac, a lot of the stuff I had in the red tape and the things I had to do and check and double check and get multiple this, multiple that was because of stuff that was happening in this movie, which was during the last, I shouldn't say last recession because hopefully that's not what we're dealing with now, but um, a lot of the stuff was true. And it's about a young guy that gets kicked out of his house and pretty much gets into real estate and works his way up and he does the right thing kind of thing. That was a good one. We'll talk about, while I got another real estate one. This one's not really a good motivational movie. This one's just cool because it's about real estate, and there's only a few real estate movies out there. It's got a bunch of famous actors. It's probably from I think it's from the 80s. It's called Glengarry Glen Ross. If you've ever heard the line, "Coffee's for closers," or like "Put that coffee down," it's from this movie. And I picked my special mug just for this video. So anybody like in a sales industry, car sales, real estate, timeshare, anything like that, they've heard of those lines of, "Put that coffee down," came from this movie. It's about this actually has some other values too, being that it's an older movie. These guys, their entire business relied on working for a firm which fed them leads, little pieces of paper, those, no computer, no cell phones kind of thing. And the value you can actually extract from this movie is don't be dependent on somebody else. And it doesn't have to be real estate. It doesn't have to be don't be dependent on your broker handing you out deals all day in a certain area. It could just be set yourself up so that you can be plucked from your environment and still be successful at your same business somewhere else, whether that's geographical or, however you want to put it. But these guys were totally strapped to where they worked. So there's a lot of good values in that. I like Wall Street movies. A lot of them are the same, struggling to make a dollar kind of thing. So I got a couple Wall Street ones. I mean, if you haven't heard of Wall Street or Gordon Gekko and all the cool lines from this movie, this is a two-piece set or two disc set. It's got Wall Street 1 and 2. It's about Charlie Sheen, young stockbroker, and I think one of the big there's tons of stories and points in this movie, but persistence. He doesn't go after. Sometimes I'm preaching about how to go after the low-hanging fruit. This particular story is, I think they call him a whale. Go after the whale. Go after the cream to the creme kind of thing, and shows perseverance and how it pays off. While we're talking about Wall Street stuff, not something I'm necessarily proud of to even put on here, but I have to mention it because it is a very good storyline, rags to riches type thing. Wolf of Wall Street, I think if you haven't seen it, you've heard enough about it that you don't even want to see it or need to see it. They could have done with a lot of stuff in this movie. I actually follow this guy on Facebook and a few other things. He's out of jail now, and he does a lot of speeches, seminars, things like that, and he's still pretty wild. But good story about thinking outside the box, which really bugs me because I have a lot of ideas and things, but it's not about what your intent is. It's what the courts or the jury or the plaintiff could say your intent was. So like there's ideas I come up with, and I'm not just talking about real estate. I'm thinking about ways that could help people. But then I have to consult with my buddies and my lawyers and things like that and say, you know what, if it went wrong though, here's how the public and here's how the judge is going to see it. And they're right. So this guy kind of thought outside the box before there might have been actually rules against him, and then they created rules, and that's what got him. Still kind of a bit of a dirtbag, but Gold, Matthew McConaughey. It's about a struggling business guy that works with like mining gold, inherited business from daddy. Daddy ran a tight ship. He does not. Fell off, and more of a not giving up, persistence till you find the gold kind of thing. Real good movie, and I got a lot. There's one you probably haven't heard of. There Will Be Blood. I can't remember this actor's name. He's quite a character. It might be Daniel Day-Lewis. He played in Gangs of New York. Big mustache, big top hat type guy. Kind of plays the same character in this. It's about an oil man coming to the States, and health, family, injuries, harsh times, cold, hot environments, all that stuff, until he got what he wanted. And I think through the movie, I actually realized, is it worth, there is a fine balance between family, life, and business. And I think this one kind of shows, you know, before you know it, your life's over, and was it worth all the time you put into something? So this one almost might keep you in check more than the other ones that push you. I left off a Wall Street one. This one is not really a motivational push yourself movie. It's a Wall Street movie about a young guy gets a job, cars, all that kind of stuff. Boiler Room, classic sales movie. A lot of good lines you hear from that movie too. Two absolute givens. And again, I don't know the historical accuracy of a lot of this stuff. A lot of these are based on real characters. Jobs, the actual movie, not any documentary, but the actual movie with Ashton Kutcher. This one, both these, and I don't know if they're true or not. The one behind it's The Social Network for Facebook. Both of these portray these guys as kind of it falling in their lap. They were both, one was angry, one was a bit of a lazy, I wasn't going to say a bad word, I promise, I just can't remember the word I was going to use. Anyway, it's almost like the jobs kind of fell in their lap. Now, once they realized what they had, they surrounded themselves with the right people and got things done. But they both didn't start off sitting at home thinking of what can they do to make money or change the world. In the movies, the way they're portrayed, it's just they invented something and then ran with it. But great movie about Apple. Great movie about Mark Zuckerberg. And I mean, they portray him as a bit of a jerk. And he might be and he might not be. I don't know much about the guy. I haven't read any of his books. But really good movies. Moneyball. It's about taking bets, taking leaps of faith, going off your gut instinct, not statistical data. Could be very helpful in some certain senses. And that's it of the ones I have physically. Two more that I need to mention that I don't own, I think I have them downloaded, I think it's To Kill the Irishman. It's about like a longshoreman, I think in New Jersey, somewhere in the New England area. But I think it was south. I think it was like New Jersey or New York. Guy that's just a hard worker, moves his way up, becomes head of the union, and his rise and decline. Also about kind of making your own rules. If you want something, go after it, kind of thing. All right, I'm gonna run through these kind of quick. These are honorable mentions. These aren't really in the same category as those, but I think they still have some good values. Just one of my favorites, Lincoln Lawyer. I actually just bought this one. I've rented it a bunch. I finally decided to buy it. So Lincoln Lawyer, Matthew McConaughey. Movie about not giving up. 127 hours. It's about a guy that falls in a canyon. I can't remember how many days he's there alone, but I'm not going to tell you the story. But it's an easy movie to film. It took place in one spot, but the guy's still alive today. Real story. A lot of documentaries, a lot of books on this guy. I love old gangster movies. They have that same moving on up kind of vibe, even if they're selling drugs or killing people. American Hustle. When I went to go see this in theaters, I was expecting something a little bit more like the other ones, but still a cool movie. War Dogs. I believe this one's based on a true story. Mainly, what's his name? They got him backwards on here. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's in the light color. Selling ammunition and firearms to anybody during like our Iraq, Afghanistan kind of conflicts based on true story. Great Gatsby. Just motivational because his house is so awesome. Gotti, John Travolta, gangster movie. Same thing. Moving up, getting people out of your way that are in your way. There's another one that goes along with Goodfellas. Casino. Casino's a really good one. And how bad decisions affect you and your outcomes just as much as the good, obviously. one more I totally forgot to mention that I've watched a lot and I have it downloaded is Blow. It's the guy's name from Pirates of the Caribbean. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, drug lord. Kind of like another good one that I do have somewhere is Scarface. So Scarface and Blow are kind of along the same lines. Drug cartel moving up, that kind of thing. But that's it. I hope I didn't bore you to death. I don't know how long this is. But those are the movies that I watch all the time to fuel my fire, I guess you could say, when I need it. I can't remember what I said in the beginning because I took a couple takes, but sometimes you have a long, hard day, you get beat up, just can't seem to make anybody happy, even though you've done everything you can. It's just the circumstances. And sometimes falling asleep to one of these playing, I don't know, like gives you a good reset for the next day. Next day is a new day, and you take it one day at a time. So to everybody, all my friends, but all the business owners I know, struggling or about to be struggling, I wish you guys the best. Uh, I'm in the same boat. I just launched my own real estate firm. I'm actually still waiting on some paperwork because everything's shut down. But I'm still, as all real estate agents are, they're pretty much, you're classified as an independent contractor, and it's as if I've been running my own business because of the way I set myself up. Not being dependent. I'm dependent on clients. I'm dependent on referrals. But I can go with what's the word? Go with the punches. I can take a few hits. I do a lot with rehabs. I do a lot with rentals. So if traditional real estate slows down, I can bounce here. I can do this. I can always pick up some tools and make a few bucks an hour if I got to. But I'm prepared to weather the storm for quite a while. And I wish I had some better words to tell fellow business owners, but I can promise you for myself that I'm never going to be too humble to go back and punch a time clock for somebody. I won't say that I won't do that. If that's what it takes to keep a roof over my head, if I had kids, my wife, things like that, to put food on the table, it'll happen. I'll pick up trash. I'll go back to crawling under houses doing HVAC. I'll do anything. I'll work in that freezer that I hated. But I can promise you I'm not going back to that until I am dead in the water. That white flag is not coming out until I'm living in a tent, broke, with a 0 credit score. Uh, I enjoy working for myself. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy the networking. I love the sky's the limit. So I would encourage you guys, I know everybody has different circumstances, but I would encourage you to absolutely don't give up. Make smart moves. Take less risks right now, but don't give up. Just hang in there and we will get through it. I think that's the best I can do. Thank you very much for watching.